Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Roden, and in today's video, we are going to be going over 20 dirt cheap cars under $5,000 with great tuning potential. What I mean by tuning potential is just kind of, it's if you can modify the car and have fun making it, like, quicker. I'm not saying that it definitely, like, I'll get into it on each car, but it's kind of confusing what I mean by that, because it really is kind of hard to find even, like, 3 good, very good tuner cars for under 5K nowadays. So they're all different in their own ways, but the song of the day is Van Halen Panama. That song is the intro song to Gran Turismo 4. It's a freaking banger. Panama! Oh man, it's such a good song. If you like that classic rock stuff, if you got a couple of boys and you're going on a cruise with your boys, turn that song on, you're gonna be loving it. But without further ado, let's go right into the list with number 20. So coming in at number 20 is the Honda Accord CD5. And now I know what you might be thinking. Well, Marcus, how in God's name is a Honda at number 20 on a list about tuners? They're like the definition of tuners. Well, sadly, the Accords don't really come with the good tuner motors. You know, the Hondas, they usually come with the B series and the K series. Those are the ones that people like to talk about. They're the good ones. These ones don't. They come with a 2.2 liter inline 4, making 145 horsepower, and they are front wheel drive though. So it's still, a very good car, and again, since it is a Honda, no matter what motor's in it, if it's a Honda motor, it's going to have some tuning potential, but it's just not as good as something like a B series or K series. Coming in at the number 19 spot is going to the Lexus SC400. Now, you can find an SC300 also for under 5K. It's going to be an automatic anyway, though, and so at that point, I recommend just getting the 400, because if it's going to be an automatic 300, you might as well get the 400, if you know what I'm saying. It comes with a 4-liter V8, making 270 horses, and it is rear-wheel drive. Now, this motor is called the 1UZ. It doesn't have as much aftermarket support and definitely doesn't have as much tunability as a 2J. However, they are starting to get up there. People are starting to put 1UZs and things more often because 2Js are getting expensive. And so we're starting to get more and more knowledge on how much those motors can handle. Coming in at the number 18 spot is admittedly a bit of a cheat code. It's the Volvo 240. The Volvo 240 doesn't really have, I gotta let my cat out, but the Volvo 240 doesn't really have as much like tuning potential as like a typical car does, but it's just a tuner's dream, because the car itself is lightweight. It only comes with 115 horsepower at stock. It's a 2.3 liter inline 4, making 115 horsepower going to the rear wheels, by the way. But yeah, it only comes with 115 horsepower stock, so every little horsepower number you're gonna notice. And so sure, it doesn't have as much potential as something like a Honda or even like a Nissan, but it's more fun. Coming in at the number 17 spot is a car that's unreliable as hell and is sadly really cheap because of it. Well, actually, I guess it's good that it's really cheap, but it's just sad that it's unreliable. The Mini Cooper S, even though it is unreliable, it is a freaking banger for modifying. It comes with a 1.6 liter supercharged inline 4, making 163 horsepower in its front wheel drive. This one, just like the Volvo 240 before it, the car itself is light. It has a low horsepower number, so every little mod that you do to it, you're gonna notice. On top of that, it's a supercharged engine. Boosted engines are always just a little bit stronger than a non-boosted engine, a naturally aspirated engine. It's just how the cookie crumbles, man. Coming in at the number 16 spot is going to the wonderful BMW 540i E39. Yes, that's right, you can find a 540i E39 for under $5,000. Now, the only reason why I didn't put it higher is because I'm honestly not that sure how good these cars are for tuning. They're not really like a tuner's car. Like, people don't tune them that much. But they come with a 4.4 liter V8, making 286 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. I'm willing to place a large wager on the fact that this car is probably pretty damn good for making some power, because German V8s are almost always just incredible power machines. And the E39 itself also, it's a beautiful car, luxurious. It's kind of heavy though. Speaking of cars that are kind of heavy, number 15 is the Nissan 350Z. These bad boys, everybody's like, oh my god, they're the fastest thing on the earth for under 5K. I don't know if I agree or disagree with that, but they're heavy boys. They come with a 3.5 liter V6, making 287 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. We all know the whole VQ joke, so it sounds like a trumpet. All VQs are bad motors. Put the jokes aside, it is a good motor for building power on. Sadly, you will only be able to get the DE for under 5K. However, some people like the DE better, so I mean, it's up to you. It's just a little bit more unreliable than the HR is. Coming in at the number 14 spot is another front-wheel drive, underrated little tuner monster, the Chevy Cobalt SS. Again, we've talked about this before with the Mini Cooper, but we're going to talk about it with this one too. Boosted motors are good for building powie. Okay, this one comes with a 2.3-liter turbocharged inline 4, making 260 horsepower, and it is front-wheel drive. That's actually a really good number, even stock, to be honest, for under 5K. But once you start to, pump some ponies under that puppy, you're getting some power out of it. It's freaking great. Also, they're pretty ugly, but that's good for you because people sell them for cheap. Coming in at the number 13 spot is going to, of course, you knew it was going to be here, the Mazda Miata NA. It's a tuner's dream, okay? Everybody loves the Miata for tuning, and there's a good gosh darn reason for that, okay? It comes with a 1.8-liter inline 4, making 135 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. Again, with the Volvo 240 and the Mini Cooper that we talked about earlier, the motor itself that technically doesn't respond to boost great, it doesn't good 400 horsepower after you boost it. But since the car is incredibly lightweight, every single time that you do tune something on the car, you feel it again. So it's a win-win. Coming in at the number 12 spot, however, is going to the Mitsubishi Eclipse GT 2G. Lots of G's in that name. And no, this is not the GSX. I know you're probably like, well, it doesn't count if it's not the GSX. The GT is still pretty good, okay? It comes with a 2-liter inline 4, making 140 horsepower, and it's front-wheel drive. This car is right here in the middle point of the video because I think it's a perfect middle car for this video. It's not the best for tuning out there, but it's certainly not bad either. I think people sleep on it just because the GSX is so gosh darn good, because the GSX is a great tuner, but the GT itself is still also a pretty good one. Coming in at the number 11 spot is going to the BMW 328i E36. Of course, I mean, you guys knew it was going to be here. The E36, everybody thinks, I feel like, it's just like a drift car. No, it got popular because it's actually pretty good for tuning. Now, it's not the best, but again, it's a lightweight, dirt cheap, inline 6 from BMW. It comes with a 2.8-liter inline 6, making 190 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. Again, the car is light. Everything that it does take for power, it responds to very well. The motor itself, I have heard conflicting reports about. It is definitely not the best for building power, but that's why it's here in the middle. Coming in at the number 10 spot is going to the wonderful Lexus IS300, exactly halfway point. I feel like this is a perfect car for the exactly halfway point. It is a mid-level tuner car for under $5,000. It comes with a 3-liter inline 6, making 225 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. That motor is the 2JZ. Now, everybody's gonna be like, oh my god, I'm gonna go buy an IS300 right now. No, it's not the GTE partner, it's the GE, okay? So it's not nearly as good as the one that found in the Mark IV Supras. However, people do say the IS300s can get to around 400, 500, even 600 horsepower on stock internals, which is very good. And since it's a 2J, you gosh darn know that there's going to be 5 bajillion mods for each and every single part of the car. I just had the longest hair in my mouth, and I want to throw up. But number 9 is Dodge Neon SRT4, another Chevy Cobalt SS type of experience, but I put the Neon a little bit higher because it just has so much more, experience being modded. So there's a lot more parts out there for it. It comes with a 2.4-liter turbocharged inline 4, making 230 horsepowers, and it's front-wheel drive. Whole front wheels are moving. Now, front-wheel drive cars, there's a lot of them on this list, and I know people are probably going to be like, well, I want a rear-wheel drive car. Front-wheel drive cars are typically the better tuners. I know it sounds weird, but for some reason, it just is. Front-wheel drive little tuner cars are just they go together like white on rice, buddy. And the SRT4 is no exception. Coming in at the number 8 spot, however, is going to a car people think is really unreliable, the Subaru WRX Bugeye. Sadly, that's the only WRX that you can find under 5K nowadays, which is wild, dude. Literally 5 years ago, you could find any WRX besides the Hawkeye, Stink Eye, and Raptor Eye. So you can find the Blob Eye is what I'm trying to say for under 5K, and now you can't. But either way, it comes with a 2-liter turbocharged flat 4, making 225 horsepower, and it's all-wheel drive. I still think the Bugeye looks good. Some people don't. It's exactly the same thing as a Blob Eye or a Hawkeye. It literally is. It just looks a little bit different. And so in these boxer flat 4 Subaru motors that are boosted, they're so easy to make power on. Now, they're a little unreliable once you do, but still, they're really easy. Coming in at the number 7 spot, however, is going to the Infiniti G37 Sedan. Usually we talk about the coupe on this channel because usually I like the coupe, and if I'm going to talk about G37, I want to talk about the coupe one. But the sedan one is significantly cheaper than the coupe, and since we have a budget of only $5K, that's the one we're going to be talking about. It comes with a 3.7-liter V6, making 330 horsepower, and it's rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. Very good horsepower even out of the gate, to be honest. Like, people sleep on these things because they look like grandma mobiles when they're stock, but they have the 370Z motor in them. And now, VQs, again, laugh about them all you want, but the VQ 37s are incredible tuner motors for pretty cheap. They can make up to 700 horsepower on stock internals. That's really good, man. That's really, really good. And so if you want that, and you don't really care about looking like a grandma, buy this. Coming in at the number 6 spot, however, is going to the Honda Civic 6th generation. Of course, you knew it wasn't only going to have one Honda on this list. Here's another one. It comes with a 1.6-liter inline-4, making 106 horsepower, and it is front-wheel drive. Now, you may be asking yourself, why is this car so much higher than the Accord when it has less horsepower from factory and it's a freaking Civic? Well, this one came with a B Series. B Series are just significantly better than whatever motor came. I think it came with an F Series. It was either an F Series or an H Series in the Accords, and then I know the V6s are J's, but still, the B Series are absolutely mind-bogglingly good for tuning. Like, turbo it, and not the best part about it is not only does it respond to power well, the car is incredibly light, but on top of all that stuff, it's incredibly cheap and still reliable once you do it too. Coming in at the number 5 spot, however, you guys knew there was going to be at least one Ford Mustang GT SN95. Also New Edge if you could find a New Edge for under 5K, but probably going to be pretty tough to do that. These cars, I mean, they're a muscle car. What did you expect? They come with a 4.6-liter V8, making 235 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. Now, obviously, the SN95, I would have to say, is probably one of the weakest muscle car motors that we've ever got. It was built during that horrible time where American dealerships were bouncing back from the gas crisis, so it really is definitely not the best of the best in terms of building power, but you see tons of SN95s drag prepped and ready to go. And there's a reason for that. Their motors are good for building. Coming in at the number 4 spot, let's talk about the German Hondas real quick. Volkswagen GTI Mark V. You could also find a Mark IV under 5K, and that's also a really good deal, but I'm going to go with the Mark V to change it up a bit, because I always talk about the Mark IV. It comes with a 2-liter turbocharged inline-4, making 200 horsepower, and it's front-wheel drive. GTIs have always just been notoriously famous for being incredible little tuner cars, and the reason why is because it's easy. They come with a turbo motor. Okay, these turbo German motors, it's so easy to get these cars up to a lot higher horsepower range. Now, GTIs, I personally don't think I've ever really been competitive when it comes to the German market. Audi, Mercedes, and BMW have just always kind of been faster than them. But when it comes to actually tuning them, yeah, the Mark V GTI is a really good option. Coming in at 3rd place, however, is going to the Chevy Camaro SS 4th generation. If you thought the Mustang was going to be the last of the muscle cars on this list, you are gosh darn wrong, partner. As a matter of fact, I just realized I have one from every major company in the top 3, a German car, a Japanese car, and an American car. This is the American one. It comes with a 5.7-liter V8, making 275 horsepower, and it's rear-wheel drive. Yes, the car's heavy. Yes, the car's ugly. Yes, the car's outdated. But 275 horsepower stock is quite decent, and then on top of that, it's an LS. I don't think I have to explain to you why that's incredible. LSs are so easy to make power on. Coming in at 2nd place is a car that I'm definitely going to have to defend myself in the comments on, the BMW 335i E90. Yes, you can find these under 5K where I'm from. Now, I'm not saying everybody can. I was actually kind of surprised when I looked it up, but they are under 5K. Not the E92, specifically the E90. The sedan E90 335i's you can find under 5K. They come with a 3-liter twin-turbo inline-6, making 300 horsepower, and it's rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. If you know anything about cars, you know that the N54 is an incredible motor to build. Say what you want about its reliability. It's definitely not the most reliable motor out there, but when it comes to actually just a tuner car, the E90 335i is an incredible option for under 5K. But, of course, 1st place, am I biased? Yes, I am. It's the Acura Integra LS. That's my car, buddy. It is a gosh darn amazing tuner. It comes with a 1.8-liter inline-4, making 140 horsepower, and it's front-wheel drive. 140 horsepower Honda at 1st place above a freaking N54 and LS. Man, that better be pretty good. It is. It is. Okay, I have experience. I own an Integra. It's right outside. I'm looking at it right now. It's really cute. And let me tell you something, partner. It comes with a B series, just like the Civic before, but it's a B18. The Civic came with a B16. It's significantly better, okay? On top of that, everything is so cheap for these cars, man. Everything that you could possibly need for the Integra is dirt cheap, including mods to make it faster. It's incredibly light. It handles like a gosh darn dream. It was a sports car version of the Civic, so it handles just better than the Civic in every way. And the Civic itself is already a really good option. So I'm putting this first, and I don't care what you say. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video of the 20 best tuner cars that you can find for under $5,000. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Watch my video I made a couple days back on helping me choose what my next car will be. I would really appreciate that because I'm having trouble. I'm having trouble. I cannot decide. I'm indecisive. I can't decide. Like Sean Kingston once said, that's me. That's me, man. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Das Vidania, and have a nice night.